Well, good morning, folks. It's the real Captain Kirk here. It is the 5th of July, Monday morning. Hope you're having a great 4th of July holiday weekend here. Only about a month ago until we move into our new world headquarters here in downtown Bethlehem, Pennsylvania, up on the 8th floor. Again, guys, we're working hard here. Again, a lot of folks were in here this past week. We'll have a full video update here when we move into the new facility here in 1 August, but it's pretty cool and panoramic views of the world up there. So it's, again, pretty neat facility. And so more to share here in the weeks ahead. Looking at last week's summer here on 27 June through 3 July, this is a big map temperature trends versus last year on a retail calendar. Here in the U.S., just a tad cooler than last year. Again, last year was near record hot. Coolest in 4 years, sixth hottest in 36 years, so way above average temperatures. 53% wetter than last year, number one wettest in 36 years, so again, very wet on that front. Up in Canada, still dry, driest in 8 years. Canada, warmest in 36 years. Same trends in Europe, again, warmest in 11, drier than last year. Russia, warmest in 14. China, warmest in 8. Get the theme here. Brazil, again, the cool spot. Brazil down under was the coolest in 36 years. So maps inset left are the trends versus average. Looking at the second week here of July here, again, it's a little bit cooler than last year, but again, last year was really hot. So 8th warmest in 36 years, so still above average temperatures, especially so in the western half of the country and the northeast, mid-Atlantic. 8% drier than last year, driest in 3 years, sixth wettest in 36 years. We'll see about all that heavy rain in the north central U.S. Models have been saying that for months now, predicting a lot of rainfall. But when it's dry and so dry soil moistures, you tend to remain dry, so models tend to overdo the rainfall. So we're not expecting quite this much here in the north central U.S. So where it's dry, it tends to be dry, and where it's wet, it tends to remain wet. We do have now Tropical Storm Elsa, in the fifth name system here. It was a hurricane briefly down in the Caribbean. Moving across Cuba here in the high elevations of Cuba tends to rip it apart a bit. We'll see. It'll still be a moderately strong tropical storm as it makes landfall to the west of Tampa Bay up into the panhandle of Florida here late Tuesday night, pre-dawn Wednesday. Again, it's the fifth name storm, and this is the fastest start in 165 years for 5 name systems. Last year was the fastest. Edward formed on July 4th, and now Elsa formed on June 30th. So again, she's about 5 days ahead of the record fast pace we had last year. Last year, obviously, we had 30 name systems. Not expect that entirely this year, but we are very worried about Florida. This is our number one spot here for landfalling hurricanes here in 2021, our expectations. This is a storm surge forecast from the Sierra folks. Again, a great product. Looking at right now, and maybe about a 4-foot storm surge in the Tampa Bay area as you take that southwest wind flow and shove it right into Tampa Bay where it can't escape. You can get a decent storm surge right in there, downtown Tampa Bay area. Clearwater. The bigger storm surge will be where Elsa makes landfall up in the Panhandle. Fortunately, a not so populated area. Again, so a 7-foot storm surge again, but not a lot of population up there. So again, not as big an impact if this were to take a direct hit toward Tampa, which it's not at this stage. Looking at this week here, next week, 12 through 18 July. Hard to believe mid-July already, but a little bit cooler than last year's. Again, near record hot. Coolest in 4 years, 12th hottest in 36 years. So above average in that front. A little bit wetter than last year, 7% wetter, but still 9th driest in 36 years, so below average precip here for the U.S. Again, we'll see about all that rain in Iowa, probably way overdone, where, again, it's been dry, very dry in the north central, continues to be dry. Looking at these trends here, this is a chart left here is temperatures trends on a national scale versus last year. So we had the very hot conditions there in early June, and then it cooled off a bit. And then this week, again, we're pretty much most of July here showing cooler year-on-year trends. But again, last year was just such a record hot July. Chart right are the trends versus average. So July clearly trending above average temperatures nationally, just not as hot as last year. The way we like to quantify this for our retail customers is we've analyzed about 10,000 seasonal categories to predict those sales. So every degree hotter this time of year, for example, sun care sales can see a 7% increase. So if you look at that really hot trends there, where it was 7-8 degrees hotter year over year back in mid-June, sun care probably saw a very huge surge in sales, plus 53%. Whereas right now we're trending 2-3 degrees cooler than last year. So again, very strong sales last year, but we're coming off those sales. So this year we'd see sun care sales maybe down 14% year on year. So down off a great year last year, but again, a downward trend here through July just because we're up against such extreme conditions. And then after that, the goal of our technology is really to predict those sales. We predict those seasonal sales by store, by week, in theory by day, out a year, everywhere on Earth. So wherever a customer has a store, And again, we've done this about 10,000 times. So that's how Weather Trends tries to help folks not only understand the weather a year ahead, but also how their sales will be influenced a year ahead. And finally here, there's the 2-week aggregate for the world overall. Pretty hot everywhere you look. So with that, folks, we hope you have a great week. We will be back here this time next week.